Hello and welcome to yet another very exciting episode of Entrepreneurs Lounge, the show that highlights success stories of young entrepreneurs making it in various fields. And as usual, we're shooting at Daughter's Home Exclusive Furniture in Westlands on Parklands Road. Now, my first guest is a young lady who goes by the names Monica Shiri, who's also the proprietor and founder of Machol Designs. You're very welcome to the show, Monica.
Thank you very much.
That second name played me a bit. I'm glad you're here to fix it. So now, Machol Designs, tell me about it.
We deal with African stuff, from handbags to shoes to everything African. Yeah. So we started in 2014, but we were not very active by then until 2016 when my husband now came in. He's the one who started now pushing me, you have to do this seriously. Yes. So from there, I can say from 2016 is when we started being vigilant.
How did you decide? Because a lot of people are embracing the African print right now, whether just here in Kenya, whether on the continent, whether in the Western world, we're seeing the African print really pick up. So my question is, how did you come up with this idea? How did you decide to venture into doing stuff or maybe artifacts made out of African print?
I've always been in love with African stuff since I was young, so I think it's all about passion. It all began with passion, and so I had decided I just want to venture into African stuff business. So it was something that I didn't just wake up and just decide. It's something that is deep down within my heart.
So away from passion, because you can want to really do something, but then when you try out your hand, it doesn't really work out. So my question is, what was that first thing that you made that went commercial, that, you know, really sold out and you realized, you know what, I could actually do this to earn a living?
I think it's jewelry.
Tell me the story.
It started with me wearing them, and then my friends were like, hey, I want to get something like that. Me nataka iyo, nataka that one. So I decided, let me try and make some few things, beaded work by then, and sell them and see if I'll get something from it. Hey, I started and I didn't know it would pick that fast. So that's where my interest got in really fast.
So away from jewelry, what else would you say is your product range? What are those products when I walk into Machol Designs that I should expect to see that should pick my interest?
My rubber shoes.
Your rubber shoes are so pretty. Can we get it? We'll show you the rubber shoes later. Tell me about that.
Actually, that I think that's what I've sold more than anything else, because people are just in love with the rubber shoes. Because the fabrics that comes in, we try and make something unique out of it. It's not like beadwork exactly, because fabric you can always play around with it. So people got so much interest with the rubbers, and yes, we have sold quite a number. Yes.
So you mentioned that you started in 2014.
Yes.
But maybe it didn't pick up as much as you wanted, and then you fully started again in 2016. I would like to hear the story around that. So 2014, it didn't work out. Then what did you do? Have you tried your hand out at anything else?
Yes, I did. Oh yes, I tried everything else to see whether it will work. I worked with Forever Living. Oh, wow. I tried to... I'm a paramedic by profession, so I tried to go to employment. It did work for me, so I just opted to go back to design work. Yes.
So from that, and from that experience you've talked about, maybe what are some of the lessons that you've learned when it comes to the journey that is entrepreneurship that maybe you can pass on to the next person who's trying to go into it? What has this journey taught you about running your own business?
Patience. You have to be patient. You have to, you can't just start something today and expect it to pick just the other day. No, it doesn't work that way. So you have to be patient with whatever you're doing, and just trust God.
You mentioned that your husband was very vital in helping you now, putting you back on the right track and telling you, you know what, you have to do this, you let it go, you have to do it. So my question is mentorship and businesses. What's your take on that? How important is it to have that person who pushes you, to have that person who motivates you? Like, is it vital, or is it something that you can do? But how important was that in your own story, in your own business journey?
Well, it is very important because there are those times where you make stuff and the client just decides, I'm not gonna take this. So my husband has played a very big role to just bring me back to track. And yeah, it is important to have that one person you can go and cry out to, this is not working, someone that you can always talk to about your business, who understands the vision that you have on what you're doing. Yeah, so it's very important to have that one person that you can always work with. Yeah.
When you speak to a lot of entrepreneurs, many of them will tell you it's not easy. Like, the one thing I'll tell people going into it, it's not easy. People shouldn't think that just going into this, your own boss, is going to be a walk in the park. So I want to hear from your experience, whether we're talking about the journey from 2014 or whether we're talking about the journey from 2016. What have been your greatest challenges as you are running your business?
I'll give an example. There's this one time, January this year, that we did a deal with a certain hospital. I won't mention the name. And we delivered everything. They were like, how many blouses? 100 blouses. We invested so much on that particular business. But at the end of it all, they decided we are not going to pay anything. So we went, I just cracked down. It was really hard, but I didn't give up. I just decided to continue with whatever I was doing. Yeah.
So knowing, like, if you knew then what you know now, what would you do differently with your business?
From that time, by then, when we were doing that particular business with them, I didn't ask for deposits, which is very important, commitments. So from then, I learned that it is very important to work with commitments when it comes to clients. If you want that rubber shoe, kindly commit so that I can be sure you're getting it. But without commitment, you can always back off anytime. So I learned it's very important to start something. Yes.
Like I mentioned earlier, we're seeing a lot of people enter this space, especially when it comes to like the African fabric, the crafts, like just Ankara and that kind of design. Where so many people, seeing a lot of people going into that space, which obviously means maybe there's a bit of competition. The market is a bit saturated when it comes to that area. So what do you do differently to make you stand out from the next person who's doing exactly what you're doing?
Well, marketing strategy.
Yeah, I would like to hear about that.
Yeah, basically we are online based. So what we do, we sell them via Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, and you just have to be different, just be unique. I think uniqueness is everything. If you give your client something unique, then why not? They'll just come back to you. So uniqueness is the key.
So you said that you're a paramedic, and in between 2014 and 2016 when things weren't working so great, you tried out your hand, but it's in that moment that you realized, no,
Yeah.
I really don't want to do this. However, there must be some good things you picked out of them. My question is, what lessons have you learned from employment or being employed that you feel have been very vital for you as an entrepreneur? What lessons did you pick from employment that are helping you with running and sustainability of your business?
Handling clients, just being good and nice to clients. Don't be, when someone just tells you, oh, I don't like this, just be kind to them. Just kindness is everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are your plans for the future?
We are planning to open a shop very, very soon because it's becoming hectic to do deliveries every day. Now juggling with family and everything, so it's becoming a bit hectic. So we are planning to open a shop very soon in the CBD. Yeah, and that will be the greatest thing. I've always longed for that.
How long do you want this to happen? Like, you know how people can have short-term goals, long-term goals. In what timelines are you giving yourself? Because I've learned like that helps with, keeping you in check with what your vision is.
God willing, in the next 6 months, yeah, we'll just be ready to open the shop in the CBD.
So if you were to give advice to young budding entrepreneurs out there who don't really know what to do, who don't know what to expect, 1, 2, 3, 4 tips, what would you tell them?
Don't just sit down and expect that employment or something will just come find you in the house. You're chilling down there. It won't help. Go out, do what God created you to do. Everybody has something unique they can do in their lives. So just go and search yourself and see what that thing is, that talent that God has blessed you with, so that you can come in and just exploit it out there. So, and another thing, don't give up when you start. Hold on and be patient. Everything will work out.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. I wish you all the best. In 6 months, we're definitely going to check in to see how far you've gone. If you don't keep yourself in check, I will keep you in check. And hopefully in 6 months, we'll have you right back here on this couch to give you updates and also to inspire so many more young entrepreneurs out there. For now, we'll take a very quick break. And when we come back, we'll have so much more for you, plus my next guest right here on Entrepreneurs Lounge. Welcome back to Entrepreneurs Lounge. Now, my next guest, Mengo Sherastin, will teach you, or rather his business will teach you everything you need to know about managing your brand through he's a CEO or founder of Mengo Concepts. You're very welcome to the show, Mengo.
Thanks for having me.
So what's your story? Apparently you can teach me how to brand myself, how to make myself more sellable, how to turn myself into a household name. I'd like to hear the story.
Yes, I can help you do all those things, but I would only do it if you wanted it. Right. I mean, well, a little bit about my story. I was trained to be an engineer. I went to school to be an aeronautical engineer, but only to realize later that it was not a good fit for me. And a clinical psychology evidence shows that good engineers they seem to like things more than they seem more interested in things than they're interested in people. So after finishing, I realized, oh, I'm not interested in things. I am more interested in people. So what do? I have to set myself up for opportunities or for positions that put me where I'm able to meet people, I'm able to work with people more closely. So this is how I set myself up for marketing, for sales, for customer-facing roles. And slowly, as I was working through things, the idea of personal branding was born. I said, there's so many people doing corporate branding out here, so many people doing other forms of branding, but I said, I don't see many professionals doing personal branding. Not many of them are actually, when you look at a company, I go and look at the head. How can I help you put your dreams before people? Because you're the vision bearer of your company. You know the values of your company. You are the one who knows where you want to take it. So that is the direction I decided to take. So that's how I landed in personal branding, and I hope to stay there for the longest time.
So I like what you just mentioned, that you decided, a lot of people have gone into corporate,
yes,
branding. You decided to take that personal approach to it. And you mentioned, for example, a leader of an organization, you just give them all the information they need to know in how to carry themselves, how to do their job. But what about in an area or a field, for example, in the entertainment business, where people need, which is a bit different from the corporate side? Do you also venture into that side, and how does that work?
I have not really looked at entertainment because I think most record labels do a good job at that. But I looked at the corporate arena because it has been ignored a lot more in terms of personal branding. Secondly, I also look at politics. It's something I'm really interested in because I see our politics is unguided. Our politicians don't know how to carry themselves. I don't want to start mentioning the things that we see on TV every day. This is because they are not working with professionals who can show them how to carry themselves, what to say. Most of them are bad at public speaking, and they speak in public every other week. So who is this person that is working with them? Who is teaching them how to carry themselves, how to dress? Because It's two things actually. Personal branding, first of all, is perception. It's all perception. How are you perceived?
Right.
In two things. One, how do you show up? Do you show up in a corporate interview in jeans? Unless it's a tech startup. And even then, I don't think that's what should happen. Secondly, you have shown up, you're looking good. Then what comes out of your mouth? Communication. I'm appalled that a lot of Kenyans don't even know that there's a club called Toastmasters where you go and learn leadership and public speaking. So these are things that I help my clients do, and even more how they appear. Like right now, there is the online craze. Everyone is online. Everyone is on social channels. Your perception there matters too. What do we see? Do we see pictures of you 7 years old without shoes? It's not relevant to what you're doing. It's good once in a while, but what you have on your social channels, is it relevant to who you are, or in the least who you want to be? So these are some of the things I do with my clients.
So what sort of skill set do you have to have as Mengo to do the job that you do? Like, because you mentioned your background is in aeronautical engineering, right? So to become a brand manager, to become that person who helps you, show up looking right, speaking the right way, presenting yourself the right way, how do I acquire that skill set? What do I need? Do I have to go to school for it? What happens there?
Well, depends on how you want to look at it, but this is the way I look at it. School is good, but skill is everything. Okay, so you have to have that interest first of all in helping people become better versions of themselves. This is a lot of personal development. You have to be that passionate to help people get to the next stage of their life. Now, if for you school is what it means to be able to do that, by God, go to school. There is schools that teach branding, but I have not had a school that teaches personal branding. But really the principles are the same, only that the application might be different. But now it's actually skill. First of all, go work with a professional, learn what they do, then maybe you might just shorten your time or your learning curve. My learning curve was really long. I have gobbled books. I have mentors I've never met because I have looked at their content, I follow their material, and much of what I do actually is self-taught. But mine comes very deep from the heart. So you could either go to school, you could decide to get a mentor to learn from, you could decide to read and learn for yourself, but the best teacher is the market.
Right. You mentioned the kind of person that you usually work with or you usually target. You mentioned the politician in there, you mentioned a business leader. My question is, how do you source for this clientele? How do you get the people who you work with?
Thank you. That's a very good question, and it's important because the way I'll answer it might just help someone else out there struggling to meet their ideal client. Well, myself, most of my clients actually, I get them on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, I have positioned myself properly to be able to meet the right people. Right. When you talk of branding, there is a way you brand yourself that helps you to actually push away the people you don't need and attract the people you need. So you have to have that choice of platform. I talked of LinkedIn because online is where people are. That is where you would meet a client from South Africa. You would not meet them in Nairobi, because if they don't come to Nairobi, you don't meet them. So let me just address online platforms. Have a platform of choice. My platform of choice is LinkedIn, because professionals are there.
Sense.
Yes, professionals are there. Business leaders are there. Of course, politicians are on Twitter, but I don't like to meet them on Twitter. I'd rather meet them in person. So that is where I source my leads. So I get there are those I approach, there are those who approach me. Sometimes I have to really look at someone, try to make out what they are trying to achieve, then approach them and say, hey, I see what you're trying to do. I can help you do it better. Yeah, so that is my platform of choice.
I like that. So in your line of work, which is different from what a lot of people do, but what are some of the challenges someone can encounter in your line of work?
Well, one of them is eating your own cooking. You best eat your own cooking.
You have to show up looking like what you're selling.
Yes, well put. Secondly, personal branding is not a very, it's not a very, that's a good one. Well, it's not the most common of things you will hear. It's not the most common of conversations you will hear every day. So there is the issue of educating and selling at the same time. You have to teach people before you sell to them. It doesn't matter if it's a one-on-one or it's a seminar. People need that education. They need to understand what value it brings. Most of, I would say for a market like Africa, people want to see something like this glass of water and you say it's 100 shillings. Yes, they'll give you 100, give them a glass of water. But now what I'm selling is an intangible. I'm selling you a story. Exactly. I'm trying to paint a picture in your head of what you can be in future, and I'm asking you to pay me for it. I had a client one day ask me, I'll say it in Swahili just the way he asked. Sasa kijana, nani alikufunza kuuza hewa? You know, and it almost threw me off balance. Yes, what he asked was, so my friend, who taught you how to sell air? Because really, I was not selling any tangible, you know. So I looked for a defense for a few seconds, but I said, well, lucky for me, he was a journalist. I say, you sell air too, because you doing what you do, we actually call it being on air. So who is selling air here? You know. So, but well, that is how the market perceives this kind of business and consultancy at large. So that is actually one of the reasons that consultants need to brand themselves. And you coming out actually ends up almost quantifying the product you're selling. Because you know what? People buy you before they even buy what you're selling. Right. So that is how important your personal brand is. Yes.
Mengo, you mentioned that you're an aeronautic engineer, and now you're into this business of working with people. And the reason you're doing this is because you are better with people than you are with things.
Yes.
My question is, for that entrepreneur or that aspiring entrepreneur, someone who maybe went to school for something totally different and now would like to also try their hand out at something totally different, but they don't know how to go about it. You know, a lot of times people will tell you, stick to what you know, whatever you get into, you know, it has to be along what you know. What would be your advice to someone like that?
I'd start here. What is it that you love doing? Because when everything falls out, you're left with what you love. So it starts there.
With your passion.
Yes, it's that which burns in you, that which you could do for free. Let me put it that way. I would, I do. I have done a lot of pro bono. Of course, I don't encourage people to do that with me, but well, it is. I would do it for free. That's what I mean. Like right now, I'm giving value. The person that will watch this interview will get value. I have done it for free. That is how I look at it. So first of all, your passion. What is it you love doing? Secondly, don't look at 4 years you spent in school. Actually, in the cosmos of time, they are nothing. So go back there, just take it as an experience. This is something you will need. You will need what you learned in school, one way or the other, or at one time you will need it. But look at, do I want to do this for the longest time in my life? So choose it, do it. Then secondly, learn, decide to learn. Be intentional about learning. Just learn about it. Look for the best in your area or in the area you're interested in. Learn from them. Some of them could not be in your locality, but they have websites, they have blogs, they have videos. I mean, Yego learned from YouTube and he's an Olympian. So choose the best, learn from them, then get to work. It will just work out with time.
Finally, before we go, where do you want to see your business, Mengo Concepts, 5 years from now? What's the dream?
5 years from now, I should be branding presidents.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's it.
Just that.
Thank you very much. I wish you all the best. 5 years from now, I'll call you up and I'll say, hey, Mengo, branding president, what are you doing? Can you sit on my couch? I wish you all the best and you're doing amazing things. We'll now take a very quick break, but don't go anywhere because we'll be back with so much more on Entrepreneurs Lounge. Welcome back to Entrepreneurs Lounge, and you're just in time for our very exciting quickfire round. Now, Monica, Mengo, in this round, I ask 5 general trivia questions. The trick is to get the fastest correct answers out, and the person who answers fastest correctly earns a point for each correct answer. And at the end of the round, the person with the highest correct fast responses will be crowned our quickfire king and queen. People die for this crown, guys. Like blood has been shed for this crown, so you might want to give it your everything. Are the rules okay? Like, do they make sense?
Yes.
Should we get into this?
Yes.
Let me tell you, Mengo is peeping at this paper like his life depends on it. He's like, yeah. Okay. Quick fire round. Question number 1. Guys, we're going to make it a bit scientific. I hope you remember. What element is number 1 in the periodic table of elements? Do you guys remember your periodic table of elements? What subject was that, by the way? Let me start there.
Hint.
Come. What?
Hint? Just one hint.
You don't remember what subject this was?
Chemistry.
Yes, good job.
It's chemistry.
So what
Hydrogen.
element?
Hydrogen.
Yes! Good job, Mengo. He was like, yes. Chemistry hint. Yes, it's hydrogen. Hydrogen. Guys, did you have a song to cram this periodic table?
This thing is like, I think I did it like 15 years ago.
I could have done it more years than you, but I
can't even remember anything.
You're young. You have no excuse. Okay, question number 2. Where in the body would you find the semicircular canals? Where in the body? You guys, come on. Would you find a whole better you? I'm not forgiving you. Where in the body would you find the semicircular canal? Okay, guys, this organ also helps with balance. Where you find the semicircular canal, it helps with like balance.
Is it
Guys, come on.
eardrum?
It's the ear! Oh, yes! Excuse me, Madam Paramedic. Come on, Monica.
I can't remember these
That's
things.
2
Oh my
points for
God.
Mengo. Paramedic.
I'm gonna win this.
Good.
The rest.
This one's yours. Question number 3. Known for their search engine, which company bought YouTube in 2006? Known for their search engine. Monica, check how I'm looking at you.
Google.
Yes! A point for Monica. 2 points for Mengo. Did you know it?
I just gave it to her.
I knew you'd say some mess like that. What a gentleman. Okay, a point for Monica. 2 points for Mengo. Question number 4. What condition do the smallest people in the world have? The smallest people in the world, what condition are they said to have? Guys, come on. We know about the small people, like people who are really, really small.
It's dwarfism, I think.
It's dwarfism. That's it, guys. Don't fear. Actually, I feel like it came out at the same time. What do you think?
I'm just trying not to look stupid. So
Okay. Oh, I feel like you said it at the same time, so I don't know. What do you think? Is it a tie or is it, what do you guys think?
A tie.
It's a tie? Okay. 3 points for Mengo, 2 points for Monica. Guys, this is the final question. Final question. Monica, if you get this, we have a tie for quickfire. No blood will have to be shed. But if you get this, Mengo, you're our quickfire winner. Final question and deciding question of the night. Which African country is said to be cursed by its natural wealth and yet is very wealthy in minerals?
Congo?
Yes! That's it! He was ready. He was sitting there focusing. It's all right. You didn't do too badly. You did well. The people who left here with 0. So give yourself a pat on the back. Exactly. So 4 points to Mengo, 2 points to Monica. Good job, guys. That was our quick fire round. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of our show. That's all I had for you today. However, you can keep the conversation going on our social media pages at Metropole TV KE on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We have more exciting entrepreneurs coming your way in our other shows to come. You've been watching Entrepreneurs Lounge. I'm Ingrid Nantege. We've been shooting at Daughter's Home Exclusive Furniture in Westlands on Parklands Road. Have a very wonderful evening.